Hello everyone and welcome to another Tom's video. So today we're taking a look at Phoenix Fleet mid-range deck in Tom's format. So this is a deck that I've been kind of meaning to try, but it's a little bit tricky to build. So let's take a look at what the Phoenix Fleet airship actually does. So this is a new card from Avatar, and at the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed a permanent this turn, you create a token that's a copy of this vehicle. So for example, in our case, if we used a fetch land, or let's say if we used a Stripmine, that's going to duplicate the Phoenix Fleet airship into two vehicles. And the following turn, if you do that again, each of the tokens that you duplicated also duplicates, so it's just a mitosis at this point. And as long as you control 8 or more permanent named Phoenix Fleet airship, this vehicle becomes an artifact creature. So you don't even have to crew it to attack with this card if you duplicate this card for 2 more turns. But what's crazy here is that it is a 4 mana 4/4 flying, but it only requires crew 1, which means that Orcish Bowmaster actually perfectly complements this card because the Orcish Bowmaster can crew the other one and the one that you just duplicated. So next turn, if you play the Bowmaster, you can just attack with this card in the air for 8 damage, which is a pretty sizable damage. So in a deck that requires a bunch of sacrifice triggers, we are playing Woe Strider and Worry Zone Guard as our 3-drop. The Woe Strider can always trigger sacrifice, and it's also a card that just keeps returning from the graveyard, which is perfect for the deck because we actually don't have any graveyard synergies outside of a Woe Strider and a copy of a Chthonian Nightmare. And obviously we are playing Chthonian Nightmare as well because it's a reanimate spell that also sacrifices at the same time. As for the Weary Zone Guard, because we have Stripmines, which is a sacrifice trigger, and we also have Fetch Lands, which is a sacrifice trigger, the Weary Zone Guard also perfectly lines up with the Phoenix Fleet airship. And we're also playing 4 copies of Grief and 2 copies of Flare Malice. Grief has an Evoke sacrifice trigger, which is also going to make the airship duplicate, and Flare Malice can also do that as well. And then we have 2 more copies of Besiege the Mirror. The only reason why we're even playing the Besiege the Mirror in the deck is because we want that redundancy in trying to get to our Phoenix Fleet airship, but it might not be necessary because it is a card that's kind of hard to trigger because it does require an artifact or a token for you to activate Bargain Portion. And in our case, we have the Woe Strider token that can do that. We also have the Orcish Bowmaster token that can be bargained. And we also have 4 copies of Greedy Freebooter, which can be sacrificed to the Phyrexian Tower to generate an artifact token that can later be bargained into Besiege the Mirror. So we have a couple of ways of actually activating the Besiege the Mirror, but it might be a little bit taxing for the deck, which makes me wonder if we even should be playing Besiege the Mirror in the first place, since we are kind of splitting the Ancient Tomb number here. So we are playing 2 copies of Phyrexian Tower and 2 copies of Ancient Tomb because of that. So we'll have to see how the deck does, and I'll talk to you guys more about the deck in the outro. So having said that, I'm going to be hopping over to some Thomas Plus 3 to show you guys what the deck does. So let's hop there. All right. Okay, well, we have, could be like a fast Besiege the Mirror coming out. Drix Interlacer. Wow. That's kind of insane. Wait, they're gonna sacrifice all of them? Okay. Fair enough. Ooh, Stripmine. So next turn, the Deathray Shaman is gonna have a target. And then we can Besiege the Mirror for Weary Zone Guard or something. It does kind of depend whether or not they have a counter spell. Maybe I don't go for that play. Because if they have a counter spell, it's actually pretty bad. Yeah, it's actually pretty bad if they have a counter spell. Tamio. Springleaf Drum. Into an Emery. Would they have a Force of Negation? Oh, that does kind of solve it. Hold up. So we play the Grief. We don't really care about the Thaw Monitor, but we probably care about Pinnacle Emissary and Kappa Cannoneer. I guess they don't really have artifacts, so let's get rid of Kappa Cannoneer here. Two, three, four. I guess they have an Emery. Hold up, they do have an Emery actually. Let's say they play Kappa Cannoneer next turn. One, two, three, four, five. Can I erase them? I think I can actually. I think I can raise them. Play the Flare Malice here.
Mind if I take notes? Violence is not the answer.
Oh, they knew they were gonna draw another Kappa Cannoneer, I guess. I see, I see. That's the beginning of your end step. I mean, I actually have to attack the Tamio here. I'll just sacrifice the goat. Actually, I could have actually sacrificed the Verdant Catacomb. That was my mistake.
Respect the library. This is an interesting story.
So I kind of die next turn. Unfortunately. Yeah, I kind of die next turn.
Some people never learn.
So I guess my best bet is opponent not painting artifacts, and they did, unfortunately. And they're gonna draw a bunch of cards here. Wait, oh yeah, Tamio attacking. Oh my god, that top deck Kappa Cannoneer got me. That's crazy. Kappa Cannoneer. Crazy. Crazy, I tell ya. I'm gonna get rid of a toxic Cadonia Nightmare. I think I'm just going to play a split here. Flare Malice actually seems kind of bad. I'll cut a Wall Strider. 2 freebooters. Actually, freebooter might be better than Deathray Shaman in some sense. Maybe I'll do like 2 and 2. Does that make sense? I don't think so. Why is it capturing my FPS counter? Alright. So,
Too late reading.
I'll Fatal Push. Guess I'll Stripmine. I'll play the Wary Zone Guard next turn. Emery. That's kind of bad. They can get back like Mox Opal or Springleaf Drum. Whoa! Whoa, Strider. Play the Woe Strider. Get back the Springleaf Drum. Deal damage. I should have maybe scryed. But seems like they're gonna die in 2 turns anyways. Okay. Maybe Calling Ritual is better than I thought. Maybe I'll go down on another copy of Ghost Rider. We have a Fatal Push and a Toxic Deluge. Maybe it's not bad. Okay, we'll start with the Stripmine. I'll play this. I'm saving the Verdant Catacomb for the Fatal Push trigger in the future. Perhaps I should have actually played the Verdant Catacomb here. Maybe that was a mistake. So this didn't happen. Well, well, well. Get rid of a steam vent. I'm trying to be greedy here with the Toxic Deluge, and potentially, like, they could have a Force of Negation, so I'm trying to be a little bit careful. Okay, so that's a 6-mana card, a blue mana card coming out. Only 1 card remaining now, so there's no reason to just hold on to this. Oh, Dark Ritual as well, so... yeah, I'll attack. We're gonna be forced to block because we're gonna get a Stripmine. But this way I take less damage. And I'll hold on to Fatal Push here. Alright, so we got a Grief. I want to see what they have. I could just hard cast this. Nah, we need to tempo out our creatures here. So it's a Metallic Rebuke and a Pyroclasm. Don't really care about that. And I think if I just resolve the Weary's Own Guard here, they probably lose the game. I could have just gone Phoenix Fleet here, but Ancient Tomb's a lot of mana. Right, GG's. Okay. I'm not 100% sure about this hand. Well, now I do. now I do. Yeah, now I do for sure. Oh, they have something. But they decided not to use it. Okay. Slick shot show off. Alright, so because opponent did that, I think I just want to go right into Phoenix Fleet here. So I can block our opponent. Chain Lightning. I'm kind of scared. They're zapping me. I really love the fact that this Phoenix airship has literally crew 1. Like, that makes no sense. Why it has crew 1. Opponent went face there. Oh no, I can't do that, huh? Alright, one more turn. One more turn. This is gonna be actually pretty close, huh? Especially if opponent has a Pyroclasm, Pyroblast. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oof. If they have a Pyroblast and 2, 3 damage spell, we lose the game. Okay, looks like they're trying to deal some damage here. Okay. Alright. Gain some life. Sacrifice. Oh, we win next turn anyway, so I don't think I need to, like, push for damage here. Let's hope that opponent doesn't have... Oh man, that was too close. That was too close. I got very lucky. I got very lucky that they didn't have more damage there. Alright, Baragoyfin. This is a really good early game blocker. Grief is okay. We're trading for some damage by doing this. Flare Malice can probably go. And we'll have more Fatal Push. Chthonian Nightmare out. I don't think it's that good. Is ramping into grief even good? Ancient Tomb start? I don't know about that. Swift Spear. We might actually lose. There's a lot of damage. Yikes. I hate it here. Two, three. Okay, so let me see what I need to do with this grief. I'm gonna be taking another damage here. 2 less to cast if an opponent controls a multicolored permanent. So that deals 3 damage to artifacts, so I'll just get rid of this. Ow. It's only a 2-3? Wait, hold up. Instant speed? Okay, it's gonna be a 3-4 actually. But it's still not good. Oh my god. So I believe this is probably energy, I'm assuming. Oh, it's not. Okay, what is this nonsense? How lucky do you have to be to have a hand like this? Okay, at the very least... Oh, you cracked it too? Oh, what should I do? Am I dark ritualing here? I think I am. Yeah, where is on guard? Okay. Another Ornithopter. Ooh, that's actually really good. I think we won because of that. I mean, we aren't technically winning with the fleet. That's the thing. But I kind of like Besiege the Mirror, honestly. So far, the things I like are Besiege the Mirror, Worry's Own Guard, Flare Malice, right? I think these are really good. The fleet is honestly whatever. It's fun when it works, but it's kind of whatever so far. Also, what are the chances of playing against Affinity twice today? What happened? What happened? I guess I can cut a copy of a fleet and maybe a copy of a Wolf Strider. Alright. Oh, what do we have here? Could be a pretty fast fleet coming out. Pretty fast fleet coming out. No way you have it again! Oh my god. How are you so lucky? How are you so lucky? Absolutely insane, by the way. The fact that they had that same start twice. Crazy, I say. Maybe I should have actually Stripmined. In case opponent has a land. They play this card. Oh my god. What are the chances? Alright, so I can go Dark Ritual, Phyrexian Tower. That's 5 mana. The Dark Ritual, 5 mana. Play Orcish Master, that's 3 mana left. Play the Phyrexian Tower, Besiege the Mirror. I'll ping here because I don't want to take another damage. I kind of have to because I'm just gonna die otherwise. I could... nah, I don't think Calling Ritual's gonna do it. It has to be Toxic Deluge, unfortunately. I guess because of the Phyrexian Tower? Huh. I guess I pass. Because if it's an Emery, I would need to Strip Mine to Fatal Push. How do they have it? They always have it. They always have it. That's an artifact, so... Trying to deny Mox Opal as much as possible. Oh my god. How? How? It's like 3 in a row. I can't believe it. I can't believe my opponent. Okay, my opponent is really good at drawing this Pinnacle Emissary here. Which is a shame. Which is pretty bad. Yeah, honestly, it's really bad. They're just relentless when it comes to Pinnacle Emissary. I'll give it one more shot, one more turn. So I need a land here. The thing is, I need to sacrifice this goat for the Phoenix. Bum bum bum. Perhaps I should have actually, oh, Orcish Bowmaster. Okay, final turn to draw a land. It's not it. Because, I have a shock land for the green, so no matter what, I'm gonna be dying here, right? Even if I get a Besiege the Mirror, I won't be able to cast Calling Ritual. Because I would need another land. Yeah, opponent drew really well. 3 Pinnacle Emissaries in their top 15. Pretty bad. I'll take out Flare Malice. Okay. This time around, we have a Fatal Push. Let's hope opponent has a normal hand this time, and not the same, like, insane hand over and over again. Great Furnace. Tormod's Crypt. Okay, so they have a Metallic Rebuke. I think I'm just gonna pass like this. Blood Moon. Really? Well, I didn't really expect a Blood Moon out of them. I do have a pretty bad hand against the Blood Moon. So... we'll see about that. Okay, so opponent has no counter spells here, so I feel like this is kind of free here. A Grief. A Grief. Okay, so that's gonna trigger the sacrifice trigger as well, which is not bad. And that's also going to trigger the Fatal Push, which is also pretty good. I'm not sure if this Blood Moon is kind of working for them. I'm not gonna lie. So they have a Pinnacle Emissary. They can warp 1 and then warp 2 again. They only have 1 blue source for the Kappa Cannoneer, so it's kind of hard to actually cast the Kappa Cannoneer. I think I should get rid of a Pinnacle Emissary, so they don't get like too crazy with it. Kind of a hard game, actually. I need another way of actually sacrificing here. I guess the Woe Strider can always do that. Never mind. Because I can crew with the Woe Strider, like, starting next turn. I'll always have a sacrifice trigger with the Woe Strider. Zongar's not gonna do anything. Okay, propagate! So I'll have next turn 6 fleet. It's gonna be close actually. Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty close. I'll leave 1 Fatal Push for the Emissary, if it sticks. I really needed a creature there. That's really bad, by the way. I actually really needed a creature. Oh. I might actually lose because of that. Oh. That's a shame. Like, the Orcish Bowmaster would have been really good. Baragoy, even like any creature would have actually done it. I'm pretty sad that we actually didn't get one. No, hey, it's another... Oh my god. Alright, well, GG's, I guess. That's kind of nuts that happened. I mean, sucks. That really sucks. We only had 6 playable cards in 14. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, this is gonna be my last game with this deck. We got a blue deck. We have a Phoenix. We have a Phoenix, so we can Grief next turn into Phoenix Airship. That's kind of cool. Okay, never mind.
This is an interesting story.
All right. See what they do when I play Dark Ritual. Wow. Okay, well, I've been had. Wow. That's pretty bad. Do we even entertain the idea this is gonna go anywhere? When we have a pretty clunky hand without,
I'd love to hear stories.
where our Dark Ritual, Death Ray Shaman, and Grief got answered? Probably not, right? Alright, so opponent's playing Force Spike. Gonna go down on these cards and maybe like 2 less freebooter. I might actually get rid of the Beseech. It's too bad. Like, it's so bad against like Force Negation, so I think we've been winning most of our games through, you know, just pure bait range instead of trying to win with the airship. Airship has been just kind of a bonus flare. So opponent has a surgical. And they have a surgical.
Is there a deep
And they also have a Stripmine. We have a double Bowmaster. Double the fun. Double the fun, they say. Decides not to use a Stripmine. Hydroponics. Into another land. It's a Grief. Alright. We'll play the Grief. It's a surgical, as I thought. I'll take away the treasure cruise. I'll just pass. Let's see if they wanna, you know, draw here. Do you want to use a surgical here? Okay, so they went with the surgical. So Tamio's dead. We can just double Bowmaster here, and then it's just dead.
Tell me everything you know about this plane. Use your words. Curious.
Short.
I must investigate this scroll further.
So opponent has another surgical right now.
A question is unbecoming. Words can't fix everything.
I'll play the Wool Strider here. Nice. Nice. All right. The surgical definitely didn't work out for opponent here. Let's hope we do that again. Okay. Let's go. So I've been just playing Fatal Push on my turn because like I always think that you know, trading 2 cards for 1 seems a lot better. So yeah. We also got rid of a Force of Negation, so Phoenix Fleet might be pretty safe now. So let's hope that's the case. Let's hope that's the case. Really? I'm doing this to avoid the Force Spike, so... I think I'll just sit back here. They get to draw some cards, but... Actually, let's crew the token, because if they have a bounce spell, then this is better. Oh. Maybe it was actually better to animate the other one. Hmm. Now I'm kind of regretting not Fatal Pushing on opponent's turn, but I did get to resolve a airship, so I'm not really sure which one was better. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Toxic Deluge. Ouch. Ouch. Pretty bad.
Perhaps there are more useful texts down on the surface.
We've drawn way too many lands. Ooh, another one. Another one. Another one. Say what? Bind to secrecy. The opponent has some pretty bizarre cards, I'm not gonna lie. Like they have Cling to Dust, Bind to Secrecy, Witherbloom Command. Oh, they messed up. Ooh, they messed up hard. Yeah, they messed up really hard. Do I use this? What if they have a... I'll pass. Okay, that was a really good draw. Why is it trying to What are you doing right now? Let me pay life! I'm trying to avoid the force spike. Okay. Orcish Bowmaster, sure. So they have one more, like 2 more chump blocks here. I'm just sad that we haven't seen a single Orcish Bowmaster this game.
I'll aid you. So focus on the respect the library.
Let's go. That's a card. That is indeed a card. Let's start with Valera Malice first, I guess. Kind of had to do that because of they can get back a Toxic Deluge.
Our story together has ended.
Okay, this might be our final turn here. So I need a removal spell. Like so. So now opponent has to chump block. Oh man, that was a really hard game. Alright, so I actually have a lot to say about this deck. I actually think the Phoenix Fleet airship is pretty cool. It can really snowball, and it'll take over almost any game if this card lands. In a sense, compared to something like One Ring, for example. So One Ring gives you a bunch of cards, and it kind of exponentially, you get more and more cards, right? Versus if you do land the Phoenix Fleet airship, this card also exponentially grows, so you're also going to win because of that. If you kind of think about it that way, One Ring and the Phoenix Fleet airship, it kind of accomplishes the same goal here. So I kind of like this card a lot. But let's say for the rest of the deck, I think the rest of the deck kind of has some problems. I really like the Wolf Strider, by the way. I was even able to escape it against the blue-black control deck, and it has a very good synergy with the Phoenix Fleet airship. So I really like the Wolf Strider. Very Zone Guard, similar fashion, getting back your Stripmines, your fetch lands. It has some really nice synergy with the Phoenix Fleet airship as well. The problem here is, although the Ancient Tomb has a very good synergy with the Wolf Strider and very Zone Guard, the deck kind of needs to play the Phyrexian Tower. So this is where kind of the discourse begins. Now the deck kind of wants both kind of effect. Ancient Tomb is really good, just unconditional, not a legendary, letting you get your 3 drops, 4 drops a little bit easier. But the Phyrexian Tower is also kind of necessary in trying to, you know, if you go turn 1 freebooter into a Phyrexian Tower, you can play a 4-mana card immediately. In that sense, the Phyrexian Tower seems necessary, but at the same time, it might not be necessary. Maybe the Phyrexian Tower and the freebooter could be just an afterthought. Having played the deck doesn't really need that many sacrifice outlet because the Worry Zone Guard can grab the fetch lands almost every single time. So potentially the deck might just not even need this card, and same with the Phyrexian Tower. But I think the rest of the deck was actually pretty sick. As for the Besiege the Mirror, you could potentially go like Besiege the Mirror plus a Storm combo route, so you kind of have more options. That could be it, but currently the meta is infested with a lot of blue decks at the moment, so that's why I only played 2 copies of Besiege the Mirror, because the only purpose of the Besiege the Mirror was so that we have more redundancy in the Phoenix Fleet airship. Maybe going up to like, 8 copies of Phoenix Fleet airship might be a little bit too much, so there's that as well. The Custodian Nightmare is also something that I considered. It's a reanimate spell, but it sacrifices a creature. Definitely unnecessary in my opinion. I haven't drawn this card once, since there's only 1 copy of it, and the Phoenix Fleet airship almost guarantees duplicating at the end of the turn with a lot of our fetch lands and Wary Zone Guard. So maybe there's some way we can optimize this deck. I think the Woe Strider is sick. I think the Orcish Bowmaster is necessary for the Besiege the Mirror. Also, the Grief might be a little bit much. The reason why I wanted to play Grief in the first place was because of the Evoke trigger. Obviously, you're going down on a card, things like that, so it's also kind of iffy. Maybe I prefer the Thought Seizes a little bit more than the Grief, so I'm not really sure. So yeah, I think I'll leave the same deck that I played in the descriptions below, but feel free to change the deck to make it better. I think there's a pretty good potential with the deck. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye bye.